Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 34 of the Well Done Life podcast. Pamela Davis. If you're new here, hey, welcome. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for continuing the journey with me. I'm so glad that you guys could all join me this week. The Well Done Life podcast, just to kind of keep everybody in the loop about what we are about, is about building community. This is a podcast where I share my perspective, I bring on other voices to share their perspectives, and we grow a community. And we share and connect through each other's stories. Everyone has a story that can help us grow and evolve to the next level. And I'm here to create a safe space where we can all do that together because ultimately, I want to see us all win, learn, and grow together. So before we kind of get started with this week's episode, I'd like to always give praise and reverence to all the first responders. I know everybody's sick of me probably saying this every week, but I've got to keep saying it. COVID is still real in the streets. And so I want to say thank you to everyone on the front lines. Thank you to all the parents, all the teachers, all the people taking care of us with groceries and mailmen, everybody, nurses, doctors, everyone on the front line helping us navigate through this madness. Thank you. And for those of us, let's just do our part. Let's make sure we're wearing masks still. Let's make sure we're social distancing. Let's make sure that we're respecting each other's space and being kind and considerate because there's a lot of pressure going on right now. We have a lot going on. A lot of people are in some tough positions. So let's try to be a light for everybody. So this week's episode, I am very honored to bring you another wonderful voice. Her name is Tennille Martinez, and Tennille is known as the Ms. Virtual Maven online, but Tennille is an educator, she is a motivator, she's a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, and I wanted to share her story with you of how she found in herself the strength to build her business while at the same time still maintaining her love of being an educator, because there are a lot of us who are birthing dreams on the inside of us, but we're afraid to let them out because we have so many things going on or we haven't figured out how to master balancing it all. So I want you guys to really understand and listen to her story because it really is about getting that confidence, taking care of yourself to go out here and live your dream. Put that dream to life because that dream is in you for a reason. Everything is about intention and growth. So let's take this opportunity to grow together and learn with Miss Tennille. So stand by and she'll be with you shortly.
Tennille, welcome to the Well Done Life podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. So if this is our first time really having a good, solid conversation, like I just said, it's terrible. So tell me, how did you get started with this? And let's talk about your existential crisis.
And it was one for real. So we met, and I was thinking about this the other night. We met in 2017 when I decided that January, we met in the summer. That January, I was going to start a business. The year previous, I had turned 40. I know, my goodness.
You don't 40. Look it.
Thank you. I know. That's why I don't like to say my age because I like people to guess. I was like, tell me the lowest number you got. But yes, so 40, I turned 40 and I was running after the dangling carrot in education. Okay. So I had been an administrator the year before at a charter school. Mm-hmm. And even though it was a lovely experience, it was very hard on my soul and my body and just my life experience. So I decided to come back to the public school system, and I was working in a school that I just realized, I was like, okay, I'm tired. There has to be more to life than this. There has to be more to life than struggling, than running after every carrot that is dangled in front of you, after every $5 or $10 that's offered to you in education, because as you know, I'm I'm a teacher now, but at the time I was an instructional coach.
Okay.
And I came to the just realization that there has to be more. All of this talent and creativity and problem solutions, finding skills that the Lord has blessed me with, it just cannot end here. And doing this in a capacity where I had no control, I had no options. So to just sum it up briefly, because I can continue to talk about this for hours and days and probably weeks. I decided that I was going to start a business. So I started to look around and search, and it was going to be a side business, because I say what you may about teaching and instruction and everything. I love working with kids. I do. I love to see that light bulb go off. I love to help them and support them through their growth, through even their struggles. Like, I'm here and I'm going to walk with you, and we are doing this hand in hand to grow. So I love that aspect, but I wasn't getting paid enough to cover everything.
Right.
So that began the search for looking for side hustles, looking for business. And I started as a virtual assistant because, you know what? Teachers do everything and we figure stuff out. And if we don't know how to do something, we are going to Google everything and YouTube it to no end. And we're very creative. So I decided to do that. And when we met that summer, I had landed, I want to say maybe like 3 to 4 clients. And I was like, oh, you know what? I can do this. I can do this and still maintain my job. Right. And I could travel, and I traveled that year. I went to several conferences, because then we met up at another conference.
Yes.
And I was able to grow within that side business and still maintain my teaching job. So that's how that came about. I don't want to go all over the place because this.
Well, no, let's kind of stay there for a minute, because like you said, you turn 40 and you don't look 40, and you had that epiphany, like you're ready to get that side hustle. I commend you, one, for taking the initiative to go out and do it, because I think a lot of us, I know when I hit 40, I felt a pull and a shift in my mindset as well. And it was hard because it was like, I'm trying to balance. I've got to keep my checks but I don't know if I'm passionate about what I'm doing anymore, and trying to figure out how I can put my creative outlet out there. So I think it's great. How did you land your first 3 or 4 clients? Because if you had 3 or 4 clients by the time we had met and you just already started your business, you had an established business. You had a plan.
Well, see, and this is where we're going to talk about Clifton's strengths. And one of my strengths is building relationships. And one of the things that I enjoy doing, and I tell you that everything happens for a reason. And I know it's cliche to even say that, but it is. For many years, and now we're going to go back in time to 2006. And I had wanted to be a blogger and a writer, and I went to this writing conference where I met all of these great writers that had started a blog. So I met them back then. And then we remained in contact through Yahoo groups. Like, if anyone knows about that, that's like way back when. Yes. So and then Facebook came about. We became friends on Facebook. Instagram came about. We became friends on Instagram. So meanwhile, I'm building all of these relationships, just supporting their blogs. And, oh my God, I love this new craft and this new recipe. And, oh, I love this dress. And, oh, your hair looks cute. Oh, I love doing all those things because that's what I enjoy doing. Lo and behold, 2017, one of the people that I met in 2006 started to look for a virtual assistant.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, it was a day that I was going to, it was like like an open house fair to hire teachers. And I went representing my school.
Okay.
And I was like upset that I had to work that Saturday, and I wanted to do stuff for my business. And I remember driving all the way home. And when I had stopped at the red light, I opened up Facebook, and she said she was looking for a virtual assistant, and she knew me from way back when. And I said, hey, I'm starting this business. Let's chat. And she's like, oh my God, yes. That was my first big client, because she was well known, and she's still very well known.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it's like word of mouth. Oh, I have someone that can help you. Oh, I have. And then I'm telling you, it's like it fell into place, building all of these relationships for so many years, just out of interest, out of supporting someone in their dream and their vision.
Right.
Ended up with getting some clients when I opened up my business and pursued my dream.
That's really cool. And that is so intentional. And I love intention, because I agree with you. Sometimes you have to just be genuinely supportive of somebody, because it's just not your time maybe to start your business then. But when the time is right, it's amazing how those people can come back in and out of your life like that. That is awesome. I know, like you mentioned, you were just starting. So now that I think about it, 2017, we're 2020. So you're 3 years in.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel today about what you're doing, especially in the middle of COVID and trying to teach at the same time?
Okay. So all I can say for anyone that's pursuing a business, they need to work on the mindset stuff. My mindset stuff prevented me from growing a lot faster, because I put limitations on myself that were self-imposed, not imposed by anyone else, but my fears, my obstacles, all the things. Today, I feel 10 times better about my business than I did in 2017, 2018, 2019.
That's awesome.
And we're in the middle of a pandemic.
And see, that's really great. It's funny, because they were saying, there's like a saying that I've seen around, during this time, a lot of businesses are going to be born, or everyone's going to do all these amazing things, but you're surrounded in fear and uncertainty. Like there's nothing at this that's going to keep it stable for anybody. And to be able to keep a mindset going is very strong and very powerful. What do you do to keep your mindset together?
Well, this year I decided that, and every year I have a word, and I didn't know how relevant this word was going to be this year. So in January, last year was visibility.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you that I was not that visible last year. I thought I was, but no, I was trying, but no. So this year I selected the word relentless. I was going to be relentless. I was going to be relentless in my business. I was going to be relentless in showing up. I was going to be relentless with my clients. And I didn't know how relentless I was going to have to be when COVID hit.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, in COVID and teaching and transitioning, I had to get my mind right. And how I got it right was I started working with coaches. And I worked with a total of 3 coaches this year. Wow. And I'm still working with 2. One of them was like a month trial, and we worked together, and it was great, but she just has this 1 month experience.
Right.
My next coach, which if you follow me on Instagram, you see me raving about her journaling experience, her faith activated journaling experience, which is open right now if you want to get
it. Thank you.
I have to plug, because it's been very eye-opening in terms of, she gives you these prompts and you're writing through this process, and through that process of just putting pen to paper, and we're talking about maybe 5 to 7 minutes a day. We're not talking an hour long.
Right.
It's like you're cracked open and you see the gaping holes that are within you, or obstacles or hurts or fears that surface, where you can work through it. And she has a method that takes you from that fear to now the future that you're realizing for yourself.
Oh, that's awesome. Who is she, if you don't mind me asking?
Her name is Rachel Luna. And
okay.
On Instagram, Girl Confident.
Yep.
Yes. And she's phenomenal. And she even has these coaching sessions where, like the Work With Me week, you're journaling for about 7 minutes. And then she works with the group.
That's awesome.
And those people that are having, like they hit a wall or they're having obstacles or they're not sure where they're going, she takes the time and just like digs in deep and helps them realize, because she did it to me. And even though she's doing it to other people and I'm watching this, it was like, I had the same feeling. Oh my God, that's exactly how I feel.
That's really good. Okay.
So it's that powerful. So I definitely believe in the power of coaching, of working with a coach. I know some of us are like, oh, I can read a book. Yes, I'm the queen of buying all the books, as you could see through Zoom. I'm the queen of buying all the books. I buy them through Kindle and I read them all. But the thing is, you need the support with implementation and action. Amen. And that's what I was missing.
Amen. That's very powerful. So obviously having your coach and investing in yourself. Yes. I think that is so important. And you really did strike something in me because, again, I'm not trying to class. You're an educator. Educators, unfortunately, are not extremely well paid. But at the same time, you manage a business, but you're still making the commitment to invest in yourself.
Yes.
Was that something that you've always been like, or again, is that one of those things as you kind of gone and I'm going to say matured, that you've realized that coaching and having those supporting systems really are helping you stay on track with your goals?
Well, I knew the power of coaching because I was an instructional coach before I transferred districts, and now I'm a middle school teacher with my lovely middle school children, and they make me laugh every single day. Some of them, they make me want to pull my hair up, but some of them really make me laugh, and I really enjoy. It's maturity. Yes. But I knew the power of coaching because I was an instructional coach for 11 years. Right. So I worked with teachers that were new. I worked with teachers that were struggling. I worked with the superstar teacher. So I was able to support teachers at different capacities and refine their instructional practices to help those students that were struggling. And those students that were doing well and excelling, like how can we challenge them to be better? Yes. So I knew the power of coaching, and it took me 2.5 years to really take my own advice. Sometimes we dispel advice very easily to everyone, but we don't take it ourselves. And I decided, okay, I need to work with someone because I've seen the power of it. And I know what can come out of it. So this year I decided I've been toying with hiring a coach or working with a coach for, I want to say maybe 2 years, because I saw where I was hitting a wall in my business and I wasn't getting clients, and it was up and down. Like I got clients and it was great. And then something would happen and everything, I don't want to say it fell apart because it really didn't fall apart. It's never fallen apart, but there was a lag, and it was that roller coaster, and we were in that valley, and I didn't know what to do or how to proceed, and trying to read all of the things and implement, but I had no one that had been there that can walk me through it. And that's what I did this year. And that's why I feel confident in what I'm doing and where I'm going. And that's a difference from last year.
That's awesome. I mean, that shows that there's a lot of growth. And like you said, investing in yourself and investing in your business that way. I think that's so smart, especially for anyone as an entrepreneur, or even if you are trying to stay in corporate America, because there's nothing wrong with either placement. It's just a matter of just, stay learning. And I always love when people constantly are looking to grow and evolve. You mentioned earlier that relentless was your word for your business. How does that apply to you on a personal level?
Well, it, when I think back,
Mm-hmm.
when I think back to how I was raised, I'm first generation on my father's side. He's from Dominican Republic. So I'm first generation everything. First generation here, first generation college graduate, master's graduate. I received advanced degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first for that side of the family. And then I have I think I'm third generation Puerto Rican, New York Puerto Rican. I wasn't born in New York, but family was. So they're from New York and Puerto Rican descent. And I'm third generation on that side. So I come from a history of family members that are relentless in keeping family together, supporting family, getting ahead. And I mean, I'm just thinking back. That's why I'm taking a moment. I'm thinking back to my grandmother who barely spoke English on my mom's side, barely spoke English. And she mastered, and I don't want to say mastered it completely, but she mastered the language and she was able to become a nurse.
That's amazing. That's wonderful.
In the U.S. Mm-hmm. And she worked hard. She was relentless. She was the model for the family of, this is what we're going to do to survive.
Right.
And it was generational relentlessness. So when I say the word relentless, and it's funny because this year, through the journaling, I'm telling you, that journaling is powerful. I started to reflect on everything that I've been through in my life. So getting my degrees. My parents didn't know how to tell me how to get into college or how to apply for scholarships or financial aid or anything like that. I had to figure that all on my own. Then when I was in the college process, I was always working. So I always managed going to college, working full time. And then it flipped. I became a teacher. Then I was a teacher, and then out of necessity needed to work a part-time job. So I did all the things, tutoring, Mary Kay, you name it, I did it. Girl. And then I became an instructional coach, and I had a 1-year stint as a school administrator for that charter school. But you needed relentlessness for that year.
I can imagine.
I appreciate the experience, but no thanks. Like, that was just way too much. And just my life in general, I've had to be relentless to survive and to push ahead family members and to be a role model, not only for my students, but the children within my family.
Right.
Because now it's like they see me in a different light. Even my parents, they see me in a different light. At one point, my dad thought I worked for Facebook because he's like, "Oh, I see you on Facebook." I'm like, "No, Dad, I don't work for Facebook, but I would do my lives and stuff like that." So God bless his heart. But that relentlessness that I had, that was born in me, that came from generations upon generations upon generations of just having that perseverance. And desire for your family, for the next generation to do better, and the next generation. That is what motivates me and pushes me every single day.
And it shines through in everything that you do. I can see, and how you were just speaking about it. I felt your passion, because I understand that. I mean, I've said it before. I am the first child that my parents ever had who was born with all of their civil rights intact. I'm much older than you. I'm 47. So it feels good. See, girl, we look good, child. We look good. We look good, mama. We look good, mama.
But yes.
See, but so I understand what you're talking about is that responsibility to be exceptional because you are going to work hard. You are going to achieve all the things your parents didn't have the opportunity to achieve and more. So I see that in you.
Yes.
And I can only imagine how that powers you through, because I understand, like I said, I felt that energy. I felt that responsibility. It's a lot of weight to carry, but you carry it well, Queen. So you're welcome. So when you're working with your students or with us as an influencer, myself, how do you keep us on track? How do you keep us like that relentless spirit? Because, you know, some of us, including myself, child, we flake out quick.
I don't want to say that I'm relentless every day. I mean, I have to be. I don't have a choice. But when it comes to my students, that's where the relationship building comes in. Okay. Because I build relationships with, and I don't, like, everyone tells me, oh, how do you do that? And I was like, how do I do what? Like, how can you have so many friends and you know so many people and this and I was like, it's just that I take an active interest in a person. And just like I tell my students, now that we started a school year, they're 7th and 8th graders. And I tell them, you have a set of unique experiences that I've never had. And I want to honor your story, your experience, whatever it may be, because you are important. You are important. And that's why, and I'm like, because I get overcome when I think of their faces and I think of their happiness, and just like, I think of my niece and nephew too. Mm-hmm. I tell them that they matter. And a lot of the times, and even influencers, there's a lot of influencers that are out there putting themselves, doing lives and sharing stories and all of these things. And sometimes they don't have anybody watching. And then here comes Tennille, and I'll pop in and I have no idea what they're talking about. I don't know who they are. And I'll sit there for 5 minutes and I will give them the hearts and cheer them on and ask the questions. And because I know that, I guess that's that coaching side, relationship building side of me, that I know I wish somebody would do that for me. Yeah. So if I do that little bit of kindness, letting someone share their thoughts, their feelings, how they see the world, and I support them through that, I mean, that can create wonders for that person. And not that I'm doing it to create wonders for them. I'm just doing it to, like, hey, high five. I'm here with you.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. I really feel like you get your power and your energy from seeing other people win.
Heck yeah. That's why. And I would use other language, but I don't know.
Oh, you can, child. I cuss too, so don't let it switch you. Go with what the spirit tells you to say.
Well, I've been trying to keep clean language since we were back in school.
I'm sure I know, but after hours, I'm sure you'd like to say, fuck yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, then you get comfortable and you don't want to let that slip out of it.
I know. It's like
from like August to June, this is what you're going to get. In the summer, you never know. So,
okay. So then we will behave ourselves. Yes. Because I don't want it to come out on a Zoom call.
No. So yes, I do. I want everyone that surrounds me to win, because I know what it is not to win. My life has not been easy. The life from my parents was not easy. Right. But I'm not going to sit and dwell in that past. What I am going to do is try to lift myself up and lift the people that are around me up with me.
Wow. That's real. Yeah. And that's beautiful. Because I think now, especially as an influencer or anyone who is looking for coaching and help, you have that feeling like, I don't know, one, it's an investment. Do I really want to make that investment? Even though it might make sense, because obviously you're trying to grow and elevate yourself. You should invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, nobody else will. But finding the connection, finding that person who doesn't genuinely seem like they're just out to collect a check. You're really invested. And you seem like you really, like I said, you really care about your students. How do you convey that in your approach to, getting students or, Is it just something natural, like you were saying, that you're popping on, or is there more of a targeted approach that you try to take because you want to make sure the walls are down so people feel comfortable with you?
Honestly, and I've gotten that question before, if it's a target approach. I want to say no. I don't. I just know what are the tenets for building relationships.
Okay.
And if you build a conducive and supportive relationship with someone, especially in the field of teaching them, education, small people, little people, if they feel,
big people.
Yes, and big people, we're going to get to the big people. If they feel listened to, heard, acknowledged, supported, they are going to be apt to take advice from you slightly more than someone who's telling you, well, I don't care what you think. This is what you need to do.
Right.
That's not receptive. Someone comes at me like that, my wall comes up, and I'm like, first, you're not going to tell me what to do. Because then I'm like, no, that's not going to work. But if you build that relationship and you build that trust that you are supporting me for my benefit, you're not supporting me to get money out of me. You're not supporting me with this ulterior motive. There's none of that. So what I do with my students is just that. They're heard, they're listened to. I offer advice if they need it. Then you see that relationship and that bond forms. And that happens with the adults in my life too. In terms of my clients, I want my clients to win. Of course I want them to win. And sometimes with my offers, because now I only work with Pinterest. I only do Pinterest services for my clients.
Okay.
With that offer, it's not only me developing a strategy for your Pinterest, but it's me getting to know the person. So I know what type of account to curate for their brand. I know what possible solutions we can come up with or ideas, because I'm the idea person. I can give you 10,000 ideas off the fly. But helping my client feel heard, respected, acknowledged, supported, even loved, because I love my clients. And my clients usually stay with me for a long amount of time. And if they don't, then it wasn't a good fit. And sometimes that happens. Yeah. It's just not a good fit. Just like coaching, you might hire somebody and you think, oh man, this coach is a badass. Oh, okay, that's as far as we're going. In terms, and as you can see, I like to joke a lot.
Good.
So it's like you think they're great and they're great on paper, and then you're working together with them, and it's just like the chemistry doesn't vibe, it doesn't gel. Right. So you have to find people where you feel comfortable for you to grow. And there's going to come a time where you might be working with a coach, that coach got you to point A to point B, but that coach can take you to point C, D, E, and F. And it's time to find another coach to help you excel to get to the next level. So
I think that's fair. It's because, again, I think a lot of people kind of, when you're searching, and I'm really using this from my own experiences, I've tried to search for coaches myself. And I think, you get blinded sometimes by numbers, you get blinded by the influence that this person already has. And you miss out on the fact that it may not be that person who's going to really crack the code for you. It just may be the person that you gel with, because that person that you gel with is really going to be the one who's going to be able to encourage you to actually do the work that is required to even make these moves. Because I think a lot of people feel like being an influencer is easy. It's not. Like you go to work. Like we were just talking about, we're managing regular jobs and these jobs at the same time.
Yes.
It's a commitment. Mm-hmm. So I like your approach to it. Have you ever thought about life coaching?
I have. I have. And I'm glad, I'm laughing.
See? It's funny. Some intention in this conversation. It's so funny how that just popped right into my mind for you.
Because I've been toying with it for a while, because I love my Pinterest business and I love working with my entrepreneurs. And Because I work from a variety. I worked with bloggers. I work with service-based entrepreneurs that they're like me. They're either VAs or coaches or graphic designers. And then I have others that, they're lifestyle brands and we work on Pinterest in terms of that. So one thing I do enjoy is working with them and developing the strategy and talking all the data, because that's what teachers do on a given day. We're talking about data and developing instruction based on that. But where I get the most, I guess, and I don't want to say bang for my buck. That's not the correct statement. It's more like what breathes life into me and keeps me going is building that relationship and seeing the wins. Seeing the wins. And even in the low parts, because I've had clients, and a lot of my clients stay with me for more than 6 months.
Right.
I've had clients since the very beginning. And they took a pause because of certain changes in their business. And they send me an email, periodically. I'm coming back. Save a spot for me. I was like, okay, it's here. It's here whenever you're ready. But working with them, even in the lows, because, that's going to happen. That's part of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And just seeing them through that dark moment, that valley, and we're headed back up to the peak. That just, I mean, you could tell it's like, I get revved up. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And not necessarily cheerleader, but like, I'm going to grab you by the hand. We're doing this together type stuff.
That's a life coach.
Okay. Well, I've been thinking about it.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. I was just waiting for you to say, yes, girl, I'm thinking about it. Because you have it on you to do that.
It was 11 years of doing it with teachers.
Oh, well then.
11 years. And with veteran teachers, and mind you, when I first began my coaching position in instruction, I had to go in and coach teachers that taught me in high school. And here I was coming in. Yes. So you want to talk about how I had to figure out how to build a relationship and trust with a teacher that taught me, that is going to flip it around on me and say, hey, I taught you. Look at where you are. You don't think I'm doing a good job? And it's not necessarily that they were doing a bad job or a good job, or it wasn't anything like that. It was implementing strategies that would help the student. It wasn't necessarily about the teacher, because the teacher, I knew they had the capacity and the knowledge and all the abilities, but we had to think about the student. We had to think about how can we reach them, because they changed.
That's amazing. That's amazing, honey. So if you can handle some teachers who are seasoned, you know, and who taught you, I am quite confident you can handle adults. That may be something that you have in your way to think about, just something down there to process.
And I've been toying about it. I was thinking, how somebody asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Right.
And because they approached me for this opportunity in education, which it didn't pan out. And I kind of, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to jump into that. Like, I have my business and we're starting instruction during the pandemic and all of these things. And they're like, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And would you want to go back to coaching? And I told them, I love coaching. That's never been a problem. I love to work together with someone. Let's build out a plan. Let me support you throughout the plan, and let's see the end product, the end result. But when I ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I honestly don't know. I have this vision of things will always be better than they are today.
Okay.
It just will. I just positive.
Yes.
Because
I agree.
If we're in constant motion, things are going to change.
Yes.
And just being optimistic, it's going to be better. Because just looking at my history, where my grandmother came from, where my parents came from, where I am, where my sister and now her family, they're going. It's like it's better upon better upon better. Now, 5 years from now, I told them, I really don't know, but I'm open to any opportunity that is to my benefit and to the benefit of those that I'm working with.
I think that's fine. I'm
Because
sorry, go ahead.
No, because I honestly can't say, well, I'm going to be this in 5 years and my business is going to be that. And I'm going to have like a team of 20. And I can't put firm because I've been there. I did that. And I struggled to meet those numbers. And once I got there, I was like, okay, this is it. I met the numbers. I did everything. How come I don't feel fulfilled?
Oh, that just spoke to my heart, because I was going to say, you don't seem like the kind of person where you can box yourself in. Like having, like you said, trying to visualize where you're going to be in 5 years, that might be too narrowing for you, because it seems like you are a person who is you're constantly evolving. So as the situation changes, you're changing to meet the situation, and you thrive in that. And I think that a lot of people thrive in that. And sometimes we have to understand we can't put people in boxes because it makes us feel comfortable dealing with those people. We have to understand not everyone is going to have a 5 or 10-year plan written out, because that might not be what leads them to be fulfilled. You might not, like you said, you didn't own it. You got it. You did it. Okay, but it wasn't you. And you're doing it your way.
Yes.
And I like that. I really like that a lot. I have a question to ask you. I ask all of my guests this question. If there was one thing that you wanted someone to know about you from this interview, what would you want that one thing to be?
Oh, that is a great question. Okay. It actually made me nervous. I was like, I was nervous this whole time, and all of a sudden I'm nervous.
What? You shouldn't be. You got this, mama.
No, and it's like I got a little overcome. And you know why? Because you said you did it, that I'm doing it my way.
Yeah.
And when my grandmother passed, that was something I shared in her eulogy that I had to write. So I gave her eulogy at the funeral, and that was one phrase. She lived her life with that tenet that she did it her way. Couldn't box her.
Yeah.
So with you saying that, I guess that emotion, and then my final thought, one thing that people should know about me, I'm extremely passionate. If you can't tell through this podcast, I'm extremely passionate. I am a fighter, and I will fight for the people that are underrepresented, misrepresented, that don't have a voice, that feel that they don't have a voice. They do have a voice, but they don't know how to utilize it. And sometimes that gets me in trouble.
That's okay. It's good trouble.
Oh, goodness. So it's like that's about me. And if we are a team, we are fiercely working together. I am loyal. I'm loyal to a T, to a fault sometimes. So those are all things that define me as a person. Those are things that I carry into my business. Those are things that I carry into my teaching career and profession.
Right.
And those are things that I'm hoping that I'm showing others that I work with, that I teach, that my family sees, that even though sometimes I can be a little prickly in terms of like, it shouldn't be that way. It should be this way. And in terms of, things that are happening in the world.
Right. I understand that.
Yes.
This is a different time, and to say the least. So I'll be honest, I think doing it your way actually probably is going to work out very well in this time, because all the plans are out the window at this point.
They are. They sure are.
They are totally out the window. So I think it's great. And I'm really glad that we got a chance to have this conversation, because I learned so much about you, but I got a chance to feel your energy. And that is really important for me. And it's so funny because we're doing this on the 1st. So the angel number, because I'm really one of those waist bead, sage chicks. I really believe in powers, number, crystal, Jesus, all that. Yeah. And this was saying that this is a clean start. You know, this is the spiritual good energy. There are good angels and open to all possibilities are around this interview. So I believe great things will come from it and from you. Where can my audience like support you? Or, you know, can you list off all your stuff? And don't worry, I'm going to put it in the show notes, but where can they get in touch with you?
Okay. So, and I love that I'm into numbers too. I get a lot of messages through numbers. Yay! I get a lot of messages through numbers. Yeah. So, and I am a God-loving woman, faith-based, all the things, but numbers, I do feel that speaks to me. And when you said that, you saw that I kind of gripped my chest. I was like, oh my God, yes, you said exactly what I needed, because that's for me. I receive these little tiny signs from the world.
Yes, good signs.
I absolutely love it. So where people can find me on Instagram, I'm at Ms. Virtual Maven, MS Virtual Maven. And if they want to follow my teacher life, because I have a teacher Instagram, because I don't have enough to do, right?
Oh my God.
I'm telling you. My teacher Instagram is Profitable Teacher. And there I talk about having a side hustle and how any teacher can do it too. And it doesn't have to dominate your life, where you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. And yes. So Ms. Virtual Maven talks about all the Pinterest stuff and all the life stuff. And sometimes the teacher stuff filters in there as well. But Profitable Teacher is mostly teacher and, it's the jokes and the memes and all that other fun stuff. And I talk about, my experiences with teams and the funny things that happen within the classroom.
Oh my gosh.
Because you can never get enough.
Oh, I bet. I'm gonna have to go follow that, because like I mentioned before we started recording, I live on Microsoft Teams, and I can tell you after this conversation, I probably won't even talk to my family tonight. I'll be like hand signals all night, like
yes,
go away, because I'm exhausted from dealing with Teams all day.
Oh my goodness, it's that's a whole other podcast. So
yes, absolutely. Okay, so.
And if they wanted to check out my website with Pinterest related stuff, like how to get your Pinterest in check and how to use Pinterest for your business, that's at www.msvirtualmaven.com. And I also have a website for Profitable Teacher. So profitableteacher.com, because, we explore all kinds of things over here.
All I can say is thank you, because I have enjoyed this. 2, I really need to get my life together, because I'm just trying to manage this one little podcast and my little bit of social that I can deal with. So I might have to probably get you to help me. But if there's anything that I can do, like from a serious perspective, like I told you before we started recording, I want to support you. I want to see you grow. I think it's so important, especially as women of color, for us to really show our unification and help advance conversation and growth. And I learned so much. I feel more energized after talking to you. And that means so much to me. So I thank you for having this conversation with me. And I look forward to just continuing to support you.
And I want to thank you for putting in the work with a podcast, because I know it's work, and I look forward to your messages every single day on social media. So you keep doing that, and you're doing it, girl. And I'm proud of you too. And you energize me. So let's help each other.
Absolutely, honey. We got to win. That's the best way. So thank you.
I want to thank Tennille for joining us on the Well Done Life podcast. I hope you guys really enjoyed it and got a chance to feel her energy. Tennille is an amazing person, and she is really doing it her way, and I love it. I think that we should all take this opportunity, like I said, to really embrace who we are, to realize there are no experts. We're all on this journey together, and you can do it your way and still win. And that there are still people out here who want to see you win. because I always feel like when one person wins, we all win together. So I hope this encourages you to go out and pursue your dreams, get closer to your dreams than you've ever been before, and really take a chance on yourself because you're worth it. I look forward to talking to you guys next week. I'll have all of Tennille's information as well as my information in the show notes. Thank you. Take care of yourselves and each other. Talk to you soon. Bye.